guys, welcome back. I hope all of you are ready to make our everything but the kitchen sink quick bread. I just called it that because basically it's a blueprint. The blueprint is the dry and the wet ingredients, and you can add anything you want depending on what you have at home. In a time like this where supplies are hard to find, deliveries are not happening on time, don't worry about not having some of those ingredients that I have listed. You can actually play around and do it with whatever ingredients you have at home, whatever cheese you have at home, whatever nuts you have at home, and whatever vegetables you have at hand. Obviously, one thing to keep in mind is that don't add anything with a lot of water content. Zucchini, I would squeeze the zucchini if you're adding it, grated zucchini. If you're adding whole tomatoes, make sure that all the center, the seedy bits are taken out and the tomato is cut into very tiny pieces. Don't add too much tomato because it will make your bread watery, it won't allow it to rise. Okay? So instead of tomatoes, you could use sun-dried tomatoes, you could use, for color, you could use red pepper like I have here. So let me quickly take you through the ingredients that I have today. Okay? Here are our dry ingredients. These are basically 5 things. Flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt and sugar. But I've also added, because we are only adults in this house, so I've also added chili flakes. So use this with discretion. If you have young children at home, you might not want to add this. You have people that won't be able to eat very spicy food, you might not be able to add this. This is a mix of basil and spinach, baby spinach. And here I have some red pepper diced into tiny bits, some frozen corn, and here's a good 3 green chilies diced into teeny tiny bits. I might not use all of it because my husband doesn't eat very spicy food. These are the fun add-ins. Here I have some toasted walnuts, I have some toasted almond slices, and I have a decent amount of feta cheese crumbled or chopped into little bits. But again, the cheese you can use whatever you want. The liquid ingredients are my eggs here, and I'm going to beat this so that I get some rise from the eggs. I have oil and I have yogurt. I also have this pesto, and this is something that I like adding because it brings a lot of it, gives a slightly more rich flavor to the bread, and it brings in that beautiful basil flavor which I love. Okay, I have 3 small disposable tins. You can bake in a larger one, but remember, since we're only baking with 2 eggs, the eggs are going to have to do a lot of heavy duty lifting to raise this bread. So the smaller your loaves are, the easier it will go. Those of you that are baking without eggs and are actually using the flax gel, I have put a note in my event with the quantities of flax and flaxseed meal and water to make your flax eggs, as it were. But remember, the texture will not be the same. So if you have 1 or 2 members in your family that have eggs and can have eggs, they're not going to find it the same. But don't worry about it, at least you can eat it. You can bake along, you can have this bread. Okay, what else do I have? I have some basil leaves here, and I have some chopped tomatoes that I'm going to use on top to do the decorating. Okay, so I'm going to start. How many of you are there? If you're there, let's see a like or a love or whatever, so that I know you guys are there and I can get started, so that people don't miss too much.
You have 11th person.
Okay, so I'm going to start by beating these eggs. Okay, now traditionally this bread would have had 6 eggs. I didn't want to make it so eggy. The smell is pretty strong, so I've reduced the eggs, which is why I've asked you to bake in smaller tins if possible. Okay, so here I'm starting to beat. I whipped the eggs and it's increased in quantity, as you can see. Now I'm going to remove these beaters and set them aside. I'm going to add my yogurt and my oil, my liquid ingredients in here, and this is pre-measured. Now before you start this bread, if you have everything laid out like this, you can actually turn on your oven, so that because the mixing goes very quickly, and the moment your bread is mixed, you pop it right into the oven, and within about 30 to 40 minutes you will have some wonderful bread at hand. Here's that yogurt, and here's the oil. So all my liquid ingredients are in, and all I'm going to do is give them a whisk with this. I'm going to add in my pesto, and this is very tiny amount of pesto, so I'm going to add all of it in. And the pesto also has some oil, okay, which is why in this recipe I've only asked for a quarter cup of oil. Remember, the keeping powers, the staying power of this bread will not be too long because of all the vegetables that go into it. So rather than increase the oil, I would rather add the pesto, which also has oil, and it also gives a wonderful taste to the bread. I'm going to give that a whisk. You can use homemade or store-bought. It doesn't matter what brand of pesto. It's not rocket science. Pesto is pesto. But a homemade pesto gives you a wonderful, especially if it's freshly homemade, gives you a wonderful green color. Okay, now my dry ingredients are going to go in. The rest of it. If at any point you think that your bread is a little too dry, you can add a splash of milk or a little more yogurt as per what you have at home. But if it's a thick batter, it will hold all the ingredients well. Rather than have everything subside and settle in the bottom, it will actually hold the ingredients in a suspension. The red, the green, this is a great way of sneaking vegetables into a tasty bread that kids will probably not figure. Kids won't realize how healthy this is because it's so yummy. At this point, I'm going to remove my balloon whisk, and I'm going to mix with the spatula. The corn, the green chilies. Now should we add it all or should we add half? Maybe add half, because I'll have to give this away to one of my neighbors and they might not be able to kind of have all of those green chilies. You keep cutting into it and mixing properly so that you don't have any one vegetable in lumped together. Okay, now we put in the nuts. I'm going to get all of that pesto out because I hate waste. And finally our feta once everything is mixed in. Why are we putting the feta in last? Because the feta is pretty soft, and if I were to stir vigorously, the feta would completely break up rather than stay in chunks. So I'm mixing my nuts in properly so that it isn't all in one space. And finally, let's clear all this away. And finally my feta. At this point, mix in gently. With all this whisking that you've done, you would have made sure that all the lumps that you had, all the flour has been mixed in and you don't have any lumps of flour, right? So now just a couple of stirs so that you're mixing your feta in, and then you start to pour it into your tins that are already prepared. This is a thickish batter. You don't want a very runny batter because everything will sink and settle at the bottom, and it will also take a very long time to bake. You could also make this bread, instead of oil, you could use melted butter. That's also fine. If you use salted butter, watch out for the amount of salt that you add to the flour. This is a wonderful quantity because it makes these 3 tiny loaves, or you can make one loaf and a few muffins that you can freeze, or you can give it to your neighbors. Just go leave it at their door and ring their doorbell and run away. So I'm going to actually decorate the top of this and let's see how that comes in. Okay? So I have some basil here. I'm going to cut some of this away. Basil that I've stolen from my wonderful neighbor. do these as well. So that's one, that's two, and here's the third. Maybe let's try some rosemary. Yeah. These breads are now going to go into the oven and they're going to bake. Because these are small, they should be done in 30-35 minutes. They may even be done in 25 minutes. Each oven is different. So check your own and get to know your oven and keep checking on the breads to ensure that they are fully baked. Now when you insert a skewer, it can come out a little wet because you have lots of activity going on in there. You have so many of these vegetables, you have cheese, so you might have a few clingy bits when you take out your skewer. So don't worry about it. If you touch and the surface springs back, your bread is done. If you touch and there's like a seismic movement inside, obviously your bread is not done. So while Robin puts this in the oven, I'm going to show you what we made yesterday. Here's the bread that we baked yesterday, one of the 3 little ones. And let me cut it for you and show you how it looks inside. The bread is actually much nicer today because it's had the time to firm up and the flavors have developed even better. So they're really yummy. Here you can see the inside of the bread. You can see the nuts, you can see the cheese. Yesterday I didn't have any red pepper. So what did we add yesterday? We added some very finely chopped tomato. So I think you can see one of them in there. My husband loved this bread, but today he's going to be surprised with a lot more green chili. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this session and give me suggestions for what you'd like to do next week. And see you next week.